So today we are doing another weight loss question and answer. Okay, this one is a good one because it's a question I get a lot and I see a lot floating around in the weight loss groups that I'm supporting. Okay, this one, and I'm sure you've all asked this, the best way to lose some weight in a week. So at the end of the day, best way to lose some weight in a week. The good answer is stop trying to lose weight in a week. That's it. Stop making that your main focus. Weight loss is a journey. It is a journey. It is going to be a longer journey than most people assume because healthy weight loss is losing about 0.5 to 2 pounds of weight in a week. Yes, you can absolutely lose 2 pounds of weight in a week if you're very diligent, if you're on it every single day, but that's not realistic for most people. Most people, life happens, stress happens, relationships happen, eating out happens, family events happen, and aiming for 1 pound of weight loss from all of my clients has been the most realistic thus far. But if you're really pressed on, I've got to lose weight in a week, and you want to lose it in a healthy way, you're not just looking for a crash diet, aim for 2 pounds of weight loss in a week, and you can achieve that by adding in whole foods into your diet. So getting in your protein, getting in your whole grains, your fruits and your vegetables, and adding some healthy fats. I'm going to sound like a broken record because people still don't seem to understand that combination of protein and fiber is the best combination for weight loss. I'm going to keep shouting it from the rooftops until you all get that into your head. You don't need to cut out your favorite foods to lose weight. You just need to be more mindful of the type of foods that you're eating, meaning adding more high protein food into your diet and adding some more fiber into your diet so that you can feel full for longer. You'll reduce your cravings. You'll feel satiated. You won't feel too restricted. And the wonderful magic that happens when you have that combination is that you are more likely to stay consistent with your weight loss journey. So losing some weight in a week, stop aiming for a week. Plan on your weight loss journey being as long as however long it took you to gain all the weight that you're trying to lose. If you've gained over 10, 15 pounds, 20 pounds in the past 2 weeks, or the past 2 weeks, oh my God, over the past 2 years, expect it to take you at least another year or 2 years to lose that weight in a steady and healthy way, because you've got to relearn some habits and unlearn the habits that led to the weight gain to begin with. Okay, so she said, I am good at counting calories because I'm doing OMAD. If you don't know what OMAD is, it is a type, oh, thank you so much for following, Maya. OMAD is a type of fasting. It's 1 meal a day, so the eating window for OMAD can vary quite a bit, but usually they just have one very, very big meal that contains all of their calories and everything in one sitting. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others. It's really just up to what works for you and your schedule. But she says, I need to find ways to add more protein into my 1 meal on the weekdays, or she has 2 meals on the weekends. So when it comes to OMAD, for me personally, this would never work because if I were to look at my calories a couple months back, because I haven't really been tracking, I would need 1,900 calories to just maintain my 1,900 to 2,000 calories to maintain my current figure. Eating 2,000 calories in one sitting is torture. Torture. Like legitimate torture. So eating 1 meal a day and trying to get in all of your protein, your fats, and your carbohydrates can be an overwhelming process. Hence why I don't recommend it for most clients, because it can be an overwhelming process. And for most people, they'll end up overdoing their carbs and their fats and not getting in enough protein, such as this woman is having issues with. So when it comes to protein, you know what? Let me pull up. I have a resource. It's called my high protein foods list. That will be launching in a couple weeks. But I do have this resource that ranks protein sources from the highest protein to the lowest. There's over 100 protein sources on it, and I will be launching that in a few weeks. As I said, it takes a while to make these resources for you guys. But ways that she could end up increasing the amount of protein that she's having in her 1 meal. So we can start with adding in your whole foods. So we can look at things like having black bean pasta. Black bean pasta has a lot of added protein in it. Beans in general do have a decent protein amount. They're still mainly a carbohydrate, but they do have a decent protein amount. So black bean pasta, we can have dry roasted soybeans if you're someone who is more on the vegetarian side. There is beef jerky is a great snack, but since she's doing one meal a day, she might want to add some beef jerky at the end of her eating window, because it is very high in protein. It's about 53 grams of protein per 100 grams. Parmesan. Parmesan is high in calories and high in protein. It is actually probably one of the best hacks for my clients who are struggling to get in enough calories through the day. I have a client right now who is eating about, I hate to say it, altogether about 1,000 calories a day. And when we did start with her, because she has a very low appetite, trying to get her to eat more, what we did was we started adding in more higher fat foods, because fats are just the easiest way to pack in calories. And of course, we made sure that she got her protein up as well. But Parmesan is a great option for getting in high amounts of protein, as well as getting in more calories if you're someone who's doing one meal a day and you're struggling to meet your protein intake. So there's also Swiss cheese, has a great amount of protein, 27 grams of protein per 100 grams. There is goat cheese. There's a lot of cheeses in this list because they do have a decent amount of protein. But if you're lactose intolerant, I can understand that may not work for you. There is lactose controlled or no lactose cheese that's out there, so that is something that you could look into as well. Shrimp, amazing for getting in protein. However, if you're someone who's doing OMAD and you feel like that one meal is a bit too much, then shrimp is one of those things that may feel a bit too filling, because with shrimp, it's so low calorie but so high protein that you can have a lot of it, but you can get full from it very quickly because of the high protein content. But shrimp is about 25 grams of protein per 100 grams, and I love shrimp. There's always a packet of shrimp in my freezer. There's also trout, turkey breast, roast beef. I love the sandwich meat roast beef. That is a great option for a high protein meal or having it as a high protein snack. There's almond butter and almonds, 21 grams of protein per 100 grams. There is ground beef, halibut, which is a type of whitefish, sunflower seeds, high in calories, high in protein, 21 grams of protein per 100 grams. And then if you do want to be like, Elaine, I just need a supplement, I just need something quick, whey protein is one of your best options. For whey protein powder, you get 112 grams of protein per 100 grams of whey protein powder. So if you're really struggling to get your protein in, regardless of whether you're doing one meal a day, intermittent fasting, or you're just struggling to get your protein in throughout the day overall, whey protein powder as a supplement is a great start. I started off with a lot of protein supplements as well when I started out my weight loss journey, and now I maybe have protein powder once a week. I think the past month I've been having it more because I've just been more busy, and I use supplements and stuff as a convenience thing, but it's not a normal part of my diet. I usually try and get my protein from more whole food sources, because then you're making sure that you're getting your vitamins and your minerals along with that whole food source. So those are some suggestions. So she said that she's feeling discouraged because she has been tracking her food, making better choices. She increased her protein. I love to hear that. Lowered her fat. You don't need to lower your fat in order to lose weight. If your body naturally craves higher fat foods, that's completely fine. I have a higher fat diet personally because that's what works for my body. But she lowered her fat and she lowered her sugar. That's a really great step. But she stepped on the scale and she is up 4 pounds from her last weigh-in. And right now she says that she's eating around 1,600 calories a day. And so she's not really sure what's going on. Okay. All right. So this is actually similar to the first Q&A that I did, where I had a girl who was tracking, but she'd been at, like, her weight would not budge for a full year. So the first thing when it comes to tracking, when people say that they're tracking, that I ask is, how are you tracking your calories? How are you measuring your food? I find that a lot of people make the mistake when they first start calorie counting or tracking macros with how they're measuring their food. A lot of people think just eyeballing it or using measuring cups, using spoons and stuff like that is sufficient. But realistically, it's not. Humans are really bad at estimating food. There has been Harvard research done on this. We have a natural tendency to underestimate how much we are eating and we overestimate how much we exercise. Even those people who are trained professionals, your dietitians, your nutritionists, your doctors, will do the exact same thing. They will underestimate how much they eat in a day, and they will overestimate how much we exercise. This margin of like overestimating and underestimating gets larger within the general public. So the first thing I always ask is, how are you tracking your food? If you're just using measuring cups and you find that you are still gaining weight, that means that you are not eating the current calories that you are actually at. Because if you've calculated your calories and that's supposed to be your calorie deficit, and you have, been trying to stay at that calorie deficit, and you are measuring and you are tracking, there is something going on there, and it's usually not the calorie deficit that's the issue. It's usually how you are tracking and measuring your food. So I always recommend to all my clients who choose to do tracking or calorie tracking for a predetermined amount of time, you got to buy a food scale. Like, if you're going to invest in your weight loss journey, invest in it fully. If you're going to start calorie tracking, invest in it fully. You've got to buy a food scale to make sure that you are being accurate to you, because a lot of us, when we're just using measuring cups, we are not being as accurate as we possibly can. When all of my clients who have started actually using a food scale for calorie tracking, we didn't even have to change their calories. The moment they started using a food scale, their weight started going down because they realized that, oh, I was actually overeating because they were not properly measuring out the food that they had, and they would be like, oh, that looks like a tablespoon of peanut butter. If you've watched my Amberlynn Reed video on YouTube, you will understand that a lot of people don't understand what a tablespoon of liquid or of butter or of peanut butter actually looks like. A lot of us are actually scooping in 2 or 3 tablespoons when we're just eyeballing it. So you've got to get a food scale. That's where I would start first for this lady. She may need a lower calorie deficit, but that's not where I would start. Don't just assume that, oh my God, I'm not losing weight at these calories, so I've got to drop my calories immediately. Get help. If you are finding yourself like, okay, I'm not losing weight at these calories, I'm going to drop it down, I'm going to keep dropping it down, I'm going to keep dropping it down. Get help. Apply for my calorie tracking Kickstarter program, where I personalize your calories. I have check-ins with you, and I make sure that you are losing your weight in a healthy way. Because if you start dropping your calories very low right off the bat, that means that you really don't have a lot of places to go once you reach a weight loss plateau. The only other way to keep losing weight when you've reached a weight loss plateau is to get in a bigger calorie deficit. But sometimes when we keep dropping our calories too low, we might end up getting in an unhealthy range and not getting the proper nutrition that we need. And without further ado, that's literally it for me. I'm just going to do a little outro for YouTube, because why not? Okay, why not? But thank you for being here. Watch the other videos that are on the screen. This seems so weird doing it on TikTok. And I'll see you in the next video, in the next TikTok live. And you better make sure to follow me on TikTok if you've been in this live. Follow me for daily weight loss tips. Okay? Okay.